Harris Taylor, my buddy. I can honestly say that out of all of the people that I've had the privilege of talking to, you are absolutely one I've been excited to talk about because number one, you are also a networking expert. I have known you for many, many years. We met at a networking event many years ago. We've been in a mastermind together. You helped me to get introduced to the company that we both now are franchise owners of. And so that is just in a nutshell how
and
much.
I wrote the forward for your book.
And you wrote the forward for my networking book. So you and I were like literally like right here. So I think the people who are listening to this will have an absolute, just a nugget, something that they can put in their back pocket and be helpful for them. So start by telling us, Toni, a little bit about yourself and something about yourself that is not in your bio that you want people to know about you.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, Tish, my sister, for inviting me to be on your show. I am honored. And yes, I get to talk about the topic that both of us love the most. And that is networking, something that's not in my bio. So I once met Wesley Snipes and Denzel Washington at the same time.
What?
They came up to me and my girls, and they wanted to know who we were. So you talk about networking.
Okay. That is networking. And I do want to hear more about that story later. We'll talk offline.
Yeah, it's an adult story, so I can't tell it here.
Did you have to sign an NDA after you met?
Not at all. Not at all.
So tell me a little bit about your story. And I'll say it like this. I believe, and I think you agree, that things like sales and networking are more about confidence than competence. And many times we have to either develop that confidence or know how to use it. What would you say is your confidence story?
So, my whole brand is around, yours is unstoppable, mine is drastic.
Yeah.
And you got to get out of your comfort zone to be successful at everything, and networking especially, because even though I'm an extrovert, I was not always confident in networking. Because I was never taught how to network right when I first started networking. People would say, Toni, you need to go and network. Okay, what's that look like? Well, you just go to these events and you meet people and you give them your information and they'll do business with you. Lies they tell. So I actually invested in a coach who taught me how to network. And that's where my confidence came from. So I was not confident or competent at networking when I started. And even though I have a personality for it, if you want to say natural, I was not confident. And then I would do the playing card, dealing out my business cards, waiting for the phone to ring, and the phone would never ring. And then my confidence went,
yeah.
Until at a networking event, I met someone that says, I could help you. And from that, she charged $6,000 in 2005. That's before it was, I took money out of my 401k, which was drastic at that time. And learned to network. That's $6,000. I'd pay her over and over again because it paid off in dividends. But that's where the confidence has come from, investing in myself, learning the strategies, implementing the strategies, even though I didn't know if they would work. But I figured nobody ever died by networking. So nobody, no obituary didn't say.
Not that we heard, that's for sure. I love that. I love that. And so you may be talking about this person already, but I definitely believe that relationships are the catalyst for success. Connections are one of the most important things in business. What connections have played the biggest role in your life?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. That one that I just mentioned, But I will tell you right now, right here, I'm living the biggest connection, and that's Mr. Scott Talley with
Mm,
Network in Action.
yeah.
That connection. Do you mind if I share the story
Oh,
real?
please, please.
So last year, 2019, I don't know when you'll watch this, but in 2019, I was trying to figure out what was my end game because I'm a sales and marketing coach. That's my primary first business, but I couldn't figure out how I was going to retire off of that.
Hmm.
And I knew that I had to either create a business that I could sell or get a job for a retirement plan because entrepreneurship, truthfully, is ups and downs, right? Peaks and valleys.
Right.
So at this point, I'm thinking, contemplating a job. And I started talking to a coach. Here we go again, investing in myself, talking to a coach. She says, "What is your why?" And I told her, and she said, "You've already accomplished that. You need a new why."
Hmm.
I said, "Okay." She said, "Come back, create a new why." I said, "Okay, my why is to touch, move, and inspire my clients to take drastic steps to be better than they were before they met me. I'm a resource, I'm a connector. I want to help people build relationships that are beneficial to their life and business." She
Right.
said, "That's great." She said, "Are you doing it?" I said, "Well, yeah. When I speak, when I coach, touch, move, and inspire people all the time." She said, "What about the connecting people?" I said, "Well, in order for me to get paid to connect people, I need to start my own networking group." She said, "Well, why don't you?" I was like, no. My point of reference was BNI, which I liked BNI a lot. But weekly networking,
Too much.
I couldn't do it. Setting up technology, putting together, and I'd seen so many people fail at networking or running other people's groups and not making any money.
Yes.
You know, I think about women. I see all those managing directors, they ain't making no money running somebody else's network. And oh, I know y'all are probably watching, but it's the truth. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. She said, "That is who you are. Don't worry about the how, it will show up." 3 months prior, I had met a young lady named Helen at a women's retreat I almost didn't go to. I invested in myself, drove 5 hours, went to this retreat. She said, "Oh my gosh, with your background, you should be a network in action franchise owner." I said, "Well, I've heard of it, but franchise sounds like a lot of money. I don't think so." She said, "Don't worry, I'm going to introduce you to Scott." I normally will book an appointment with the people I find interesting at events. I did not book an appointment with her. Helen did not call me until 1 week after the conversation with the life coach.
Wow.
"Toni, I haven't forgot about you. I still think you should be an NIA franchise owner." I was like, "I forgot about you, but okay. How much is that thing?" She told me. I said, "I don't have that kind of money." She said, "Just meet Scott. He'll make it work, blah, blah, blah." Met Scott, brother from another mother, instant connection, changed my life. I'm now living my dream, living my why, all because, watch this, Helen followed up from a networking event.
Wow, wow. So I'm going to ask you to take that conversation, that story one step further because that'll lead to how we both are doing this. So then what did you do after you found out that this was a great opportunity, an opportunity for you to build a business that is successful that you could sell? Who did you tell about that afterwards?
So one of the things I said to Scott was, "What's your dream?" Because I really want to help people's dreams come true. He said, "My dream is to have a franchise in every state." I said, "Well, I have an international network. I know people in every state. And I want to introduce you to, let's start with the A's. Let me introduce you to my friend Tish Times, whose brand is Unstoppable Networking."
Well, and this is one of the few episodes that I really will share, all of this because, many people don't know how I found Network in Action. And I am forever grateful because, like you, it's an opportunity for me to not only, number one, not work by myself,
Right.
because as a coach, as a trainer, like you know, you're kind of in your own bubble. You're having to create
Right.
all your own content and book your own gigs and all of that, which is fine. But the thing about network connection for both of us is that we now have this huge community to bounce ideas off of, to get training. And as you mentioned, Scott Talley being the leader of that particular organization, as just a conduit of new information and doing all the research and providing all the content and the connections, if you will, as far as getting us the details we need to be able to run our business in multiple states. So I'm grateful for that too. And I'm grateful for you for sharing network and action with me at a time where I was looking to also expand my brand.
Can I say something about that?
Yes.
So oftentimes when we're networking, we have a resource, but we hesitate to share because we don't have all the details. Some of you, I'm also a disc trainer, so some of you analytical ones. You know, I felt from my gut that Scott was who he was, genuine. And I just knew immediately Tish needed to meet him. I mean, it wasn't like it was months after, it was immediately when he said, I want to spread this nationally. I'm like, I got people for you. And Tish was the first one. Now, did I really know Scott? Did I really know NIA? I did not. But I went from my gut. I made the connection. And that's what you have to do when you're networking. The more selfless you are in networking, the more your business will grow. People will see you as a connector. They will want to not only do business with you, but be a part of whatever you got going on. So I have the privilege of being the fastest growing franchise owner that Scott has ever had. Why? Because I went with my gut and I just, you know, I already had the network. So I just started plugging people in. And to date, I think I have referred the most franchise owners as well.
I know you have. There's no doubt about it. I hear it all the time. So,
and I'm not even a year yet.
I know.
I haven't been a year yet.
Yeah. So my next question, I think I know the answer to, but I'm not going to make that assumption. I'm going to ask it anyway, because you might have a different word. If you could sum up your journey in one word, Toni, what would that word be?
Well, you know that
I
answer.
know what it is. Just share it with everybody else, just in case they missed it earlier.
So the word drastic is my brand. It's the word I adopted in 2012 when I needed to be drastic. And drastic is what every entrepreneur must embody in order to be successful. Networking is drastic.
Yeah.
It's getting out of your comfort zone. Even those who are natural, still, we don't feel like going, you got to go. You don't want to pay that registration fee, you got to pay it. You don't want to, you know, you don't want to show up in a good big way. You have to do it. So everything. And if I told you my life history, you would say, yeah, that girl is drastic.
Yes.
So everything boils down to being whatever your drastic is. Now, your drastic's not mine. Mine is not yours.
Right.
But you got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to just do it. And then, you know, it all works out in the end.
I love it. And I knew that was your word, but I just wanted to make sure. What would you say, Toni, is your networking secret? You shared lots of secrets with us, I believe, already, but what's the one thing you said, this has been my game changer as it relates to networking?
Book appointments on the spot.
Love it. Yes.
You cannot afford to take business card, a purse or a pocket full of business cards home, and you're not going to do it. Do you know how many networking events I've been to? I've spent my money, passed out business cards, and nobody ever called me.
Of course.
It's ridiculous. Why the heck do people show up to conferences, pay all this money, and don't follow up?
Yeah.
So to avoid the lack of follow-up, book the appointment on the spot.
There you go.
That one strategy can be, it's drastic, but it is game changing. And I liken it, I love to tell this story when I speak. when we were dating, when we were young, right? And we were looking for Mr. Look So Good. And let's just say we were at a party and we spotted him across a crowded room and he sashayed up to you and he said, "Hey, beautiful, can I buy you a drink?" And you're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." And then y'all have a good conversation. He asks for your number. You give him the number, and it's like, oh my gosh, this guy is all that. He said, "Girl, I'm gonna call you tomorrow." Tomorrow comes and he don't call.
Mm-hmm.
Next day comes, he don't call. Week passed by, he don't call. The buster never calls.
Yeah.
It's the same thing when you go to a networking event.
Right.
You meet these wonderful people, you have a good connection, you pass out a business card, and nobody takes the initiative to call.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to take the initiative. And I know me, I don't have time to call. So I book appointment. When I leave events, I have 3 to 5 appointments on my calendar to get to know those people better. And yes, they may become a referral partner, some of them become clients, and some of them are duds and nothing happens, but it's all good.
Yeah, yeah, but you have them booked. And for me, Toni, that's also a strategy I use when I speak. I obviously use it when I'm networking, but if I speak and I say, how many of you all want to have a sales assessment or want to have a conversation, meet me at my table and we're going to get you on our books right now. Because if they don't schedule in that room, the likelihood is you're never going to talk to them again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
and technology is so key.
Yes.
Having your calendar link where people can just go and sign themselves up on the spot. All that stuff is critical to being successful and not wasting your time.
Yeah.
So it breaks my heart, literally, to see entrepreneurs who haven't invested time in learning how to network successfully, to see them doing it and just not getting anything from it.
Oh,
I will tell you, invest $6,000 with me, Tish, somebody who can teach you how to network. It will pay off in spades because once you learn it, it's yours.
It is. It is. So you have given us a lot. I told y'all when you signed in today that you were going to walk away with nuggets. So this will be one that you'll listen to over and over and over again because Toni has given us so much information. She told us we have to be drastic. We need to show up. We need to invest in ourselves. We need to follow up. Hello. And we need to make sure we book the appointment on the spot and connect with people who are going to be life-changing connections. Toni has been a life-changing connection for me. And I only foresee that getting better and better. So you also want to, I believe, surround yourself with people who are going to be good, mutually beneficial connections for you. And Toni, I'm going to ask you one last question, a series of last questions, I guess I should say. I always end with, how can I refer you? I do know this, but I want other people to know it, especially if you're in the Houston area or if you're looking for coaching. Who is your ideal client and how do you work with people? Can you kind of sum it up for us and tell people how they can reach you?
Yes. So all my contact information is
all right there.
So that's another tip.
No, there it is right there.
You're on these Zoom calls, be branded, always be branded.
Yes.
So how can people work with me? I am a coach. I also run networking organizations. I have 3 groups in Houston, and I have a coaching group, Network in Action Northeast Houston. I also do private coaching. For those of you who are not in the Houston area and you would like to engage with someone who is going to get you out your comfort zone, first and foremost. A lot of introverts hire me.
Yes.
Because they know they have to get out of their comfort zone. And then also it's going to give you the strategies that you need to start making money right away. And my ideal target client is speakers, coaches, authors. I do a lot of work with realtors who need coaching. And the nice thing about realtors and their coaching is one deal pays off whatever they invested. So that's a nice thing. So I work a lot with realtors. You can contact me by the information you see there. Just text me at that phone number, call me at that
So
phone.
I'll ask you to say it because although many will see the video, some will only hear the audio.
Okay, thank you. My phone number is 832-791-4273. My email is Toni, Toni, at networkinaction.com. And my website is nianortheasthouston.com. And so I thank you again, Tish, for the privilege of being with your audience, and then your audience, my audience, getting to know who you are and your unstoppable networking message. And what I love about Tish is we are not in competition.
Not at all.
He and I are, we're collaborators. What's for us is for us. She's referred, my very best coaching client came from Tish.
Woo-hoo. And I will continue to do that. And I'm just super, super grateful to have you in my life. And I'm grateful that my audience will have an opportunity to get to meet Toni Harris Taylor. We'll put all of your contact information in the show notes. And I want to say thank you once again.
Thank you.